Your endless kindness is quietly holding you back. That constant smile, the perpetual yes, the inability to say no, it's not making you a better person. It's diminishing the best version of yourself. Every time you agree to something your heart refuses, you're committing a slow form of self-sabotage. You're trading your purpose for fleeting approval, swapping your destiny for popularity. Look around. The world is full of people who are too friendly to chase their dreams, too nice to nurture their own potential, too afraid of disapproval to disappoint anyone but themselves. And right now, every minute you spend trying to please everyone else, you lose a part of yourself. Your energy leaks away. Your time vanishes. Your purpose slips quietly through your fingers. I want to tell you something that might sound harsh. At first, stop being too friendly. I'm not saying stop caring for people or stop being kind. What I am saying is this: many of you are sacrificing your future by trying to satisfy everyone around you. You're so busy being nice that there's no time left for greatness. Let me share a story. Years ago, I was sitting in my office late at night, working on a project that wasn't even mine. A colleague had asked for help, and somehow I ended up doing his entire presentation. My phone wouldn't stop ringing. People wanted advice, wanted favors, wanted my time. And I said yes to everything. My desk was piled with other people's priorities. My calendar crammed with meetings I didn't need. My energy drained solving problems that weren't mine. And there, under all that chaos, lay a small notebook with my own dreams and goals, gathering dust, because I was too busy being friendly to work on what really mattered. That night, I checked my watch, 2:00 a.m. I had been at the office 18 hours. I had missed dinner with my family. And for what? To be liked. To avoid disappointing people who probably wouldn't have done the same for me. That's when I realized I wasn't being friendly. I was being foolish. I was sacrificing my purpose for the approval of others. Many of you are doing the exact same thing right now. You're saying yes when you should say no. You're giving away your most valuable resource, your time, to people who don't appreciate it. You're prioritizing others' agendas over your own purpose. Being too friendly isn't kindness, it's self-sabotage. When you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one, especially not yourself. Your relationships get unbalanced. People start expecting your sacrifice. They begin to see your time, energy, and resources as theirs by default. And the most dangerous part, you start to believe it too. Being too friendly makes you measure your worth by how much you give away, how available you are, and how much you sacrifice. You begin to think your value lies in others' dependence on you rather than in your alignment with your own purpose. Here's what happens when you overextend yourself to be like, you become exhausted. Your energy isn't limitless. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your goals, you're saying no to your potential. You can't pour from an empty cup. Many of you are running on fumes because you've given everything away. Second, you start to feel resentful. It begins as a quiet voice in your head asking why you're always the one picking up the slack, always sacrificing, always putting others first. Over time, that voice grows louder until one day that resentment spills into your relationships, poisoning the very connections you were trying to nurture. Third, you lose respect. Yes, that's right. People don't respect those who don't respect themselves. When you allow others to walk all over you, when you drop everything to meet their needs, when you consistently put yourself last, you send a clear message: my time isn't valuable. My boundaries don't matter. My purpose isn't important. And tragically, most dangerously, you miss your destiny. You were not born to be everyone's assistant. You were not put on this earth to make everyone comfortable. You were created with a unique purpose, gifts and contributions that only you can bring. But you cannot fulfill that purpose if every request, every need, every demand derails you. Now, let's talk about healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are bridges. They don't disconnect you from others, they create the conditions for authentic connection. When you have clear boundaries, people know what to expect. They see that you value yourself and your time, and paradoxically, they respect you more because of it. Think about the people you admire most. Are they always available, always saying yes, always putting themselves last? Or are they the ones with clear priorities, who value their time, who know when to say yes and when to say no. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's stewardship. You've been given gifts, talents, resources, and time. You are responsible for managing them wisely. Being too friendly often means being a poor steward of your own purpose. Many of you fear that if you stop being so friendly, people won't like you anymore. Here's a hard truth. If people only like you because you never say no, because you're always available, because you put their needs above your own, they don't really like you. They like what you do for them. They like the convenience of your sacrifice. They like your availability. But they don't necessarily like you for who you truly are. In giving too much, you lose sight of yourself. There's a huge difference between kindness and being taken advantage of. Kindness comes from strength. It's a choice made from self-respect and abundance. Being taken advantage of comes from weakness. It happens when you don't value yourself enough to establish boundaries. Kindness says, I see your need, and I choose to help because I care. Being taken advantage of says, I must meet your need because I fear your disapproval. Kindness fills you up. Being taken advantage of drains you. I've seen too many talented people waste their potential because they couldn't say no. Brilliant minds stuck in mediocrity because they were too busy meeting everyone else's expectations to pursue excellence. People with world-changing ideas who never changed a thing because they were too friendly to rock the boat. Don't let that be your story. Let me share the story of Marcus, a brilliant young man I mentored a few years ago. When I first met him, he was working 80 hours a week at a job he hated, all because he didn't want to disappoint his boss. His weekends were swallowed by family obligations, not because he wanted to be there, but because he couldn't say no. His friends regularly took advantage of his generosity, borrowing money they never repaid, dropping by unannounced, expecting him to drop everything for them. Marcus was everyone's friend, yet he had no time for his own dreams. He wanted to start a business, but between his job and all these obligations, he could barely get enough sleep, let alone build something of his own. One day I asked him a simple question. Marcus, what would happen if you disappeared tomorrow? He looked puzzled, so I explained, if you vanished, your company would hire someone else. Your family would handle their own issues. Your friends would find someone else to rely on. Life would go on. But your purpose, the unique contribution only you can make, would die with you. That hit him hard. Marcus realized he had been living as if his only value lay in what he could do for others rather than in what he was created to do. Over the next year, Marcus transformed his life. He set office hours and stuck to them. Despite initial resistance from his boss, he began saying no to family demands that weren't emergencies. He had honest conversations with friends about one-sided relationships. Some friendships ended, painful but necessary. With these new boundaries, Marcus finally found time to work on his business idea. He started small, evenings and weekends, while gradually reducing his job hours. 2 years later, he quit his job entirely to run his company full-time. The most remarkable part, the people who truly cared about Marcus, those who valued him for who he was, not just what he could do, respected his boundaries. Those relationships grew stronger, deeper, and more authentic. The ones that couldn't survive his boundaries weren't worth keeping anyway. Today, Marcus employs 15 people. His company helps small farmers get their products to market, improving livelihoods and food access in underserved communities. He's making a real difference, something that would never have happened if he had continued being too friendly. I'm not saying stop caring about people. I'm saying care about your purpose even more. Think of it like an airplane emergency. What do they tell you? Put your own oxygen mask on first. Why? Because if you pass out, you can't help anyone. The same principle applies to your life. If you give away all your energy, there's nothing left for your purpose. If you never fulfill your purpose, the world loses the unique contribution only you can make. Your time is not renewable. Once it's gone forever. Every minute spent on things that don't align with your purpose is a minute you'll never get back. Every yes to something that doesn't matter is a no to something that does. Stop being too friendly with your time. Stop over giving your energy. Stop saying yes when your spirit is screaming no. This isn't about becoming selfish. It's about becoming focused. It's about realizing you cannot be everything to everyone, and you were never meant to be. The greatest gift you can give the world isn't your constant availability or endless compliance. It's your authentic contribution, your purpose fulfilled, your potential realized. Too many people live their lives without ever drawing a line, without ever saying, this far and no further. They become human doormats, letting everyone and everything walk over them. Then they wonder why they feel drained, empty, and resentful. They wonder why their dreams never come true, why their goals remain out of reach, why their purpose stays unfulfilled. The answer is simple. They were too friendly with the wrong things and not friendly enough with the right ones. Too many have built prisons out of accommodation, walls of compliance around their potential, cemented with fear. Fear of rejection, fear of disapproval, fear of being alone. And now, trapped within these self-made structures, they wonder why life feels so limited, so confined, so far from their dreams. The key to freedom is in your hands right now. That key is a single word, no. 2 letters, 1 syllable, infinite power. When you learn to say no to what doesn't serve your purpose, you create space to say yes to what truly matters. Most people get this backward. They say yes to everything, then wonder why there's no room for their priorities. Your no is as important as your yes, maybe even more. Every major breakthrough, every historic achievement, every innovation, every movement forward came from someone who said no to distractions and yes to focus. I've seen countless talented people fail, not because they lacked ability, but because they couldn't say no. They were smart, capable, full of potential, but they never achieved their true capacity because they gave away their energy and time to everyone else. Meanwhile, I've seen people with half the talent accomplish twice as much simply because they understood the power of no. No isn't a rejection of others. It's protection of yourself, your time, your energy, your purpose. It's a recognition that your resources are finite and must be managed wisely. The strongest people I know aren't those who say yes to everything. They are the ones who know exactly when to say no. Their no comes from confidence, not fear, from clarity, not confusion, from understanding their worth, not questioning it. Many of you spend your days reacting to everyone else's urgencies, responding to every buzz, every notification, every request for just a minute of your time. Those minutes add up. Those interruptions compound. Before long, your life doesn't belong to you. It belongs to whoever makes the loudest demand. Stop giving away your power. Stop letting others control your life. Start saying no to what doesn't align with your purpose and watch how quickly you move toward your goals. Now let's talk about respect. Many believe being agreeable, available, and accommodating earns respect. That's one of the biggest lies in our culture today. Real respect doesn't come from making yourself small so others feel big. It doesn't come from always saying yes. It doesn't come from being everyone's doormat. Respect comes from integrity, from standing for something, from having principles that don't bend with every gust of popular opinion. It comes from valuing yourself enough to expect others to value you too. It comes from knowing your worth and refusing to accept less. When you have clear boundaries, when you say no to what doesn't serve your purpose. People may feel temporarily disappointed or even angry, but in the long run, they will respect you for it. They will understand that your time and energy are valuable. They will see you as someone who knows their worth. Contrast that with being too friendly, too available, too eager to please. At first, people might seem happy with you, but over time they take you for granted. They expect your sacrifices, they assume your compliance. Slowly, subtly, they begin to lose respect for you. I've seen this play out countless times. The person who never says no becomes the person everyone asks first. Not because they're valued, but because they won't refuse. The person who drops everything for others becomes the person others discard when something better comes along. The person who puts themselves last ends up last in everyone else's eyes too. Building respect through boundaries isn't about being harsh or cold. It's about clarity and consistency. It's about communicating your expectations and standing by them. It's about teaching others how to treat you by how you treat yourself. If you want others to respect your time, respect it first. If you want them to value your energy, value it first. If you want them to honor your boundaries, honor them first. Here's a hard truth. Some relationships in your life are toxic. Some people you bend over backward for are taking advantage of you. Some connections you desperately maintain are draining you instead of supporting you. Not every relationship deserves your energy. Not every connection serves your purpose. Not everyone in your life wants what's best for you. How do you spot toxic relationships? Look for these signs. You feel exhausted after spending time with them, not energized. They take more than they give. They only contact you when they need something. They vanish when you face challenges. They resist or ignore your boundaries. They make you feel guilty for prioritizing your needs or pursuing your goals. Your success makes them uncomfortable or resentful. They consistently undermine your confidence or question your decisions. You apologize for things that aren't your fault. You feel like you're walking on eggshells around them. If multiple signs sound familiar, it's time to make hard choices. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and for them is to create distance. Some relationships need healthy space, others may need to end completely. This isn't about casting blame or harboring resentment. It's about recognizing that just as you have a purpose, you also have priorities. If a relationship consistently pulls you away from those priorities instead of supporting them, it may cost you more than it's worth. I'm not saying to cut people off at the first difficulty. I'm saying look at the pattern, not the isolated incidents. I'm saying look at whether a relationship on balance adds to your life or takes away from it. Consider whether a connection is moving you toward your purpose or pulling you away from it. Your time on this earth is limited. Your energy is finite. You cannot afford to invest these precious resources in relationships that drain you instead of developing you. This brings me to a crucial point. Your purpose and your priorities must align. Many claim to know their purpose, but set priorities that contradict it. They say they want to build a business, but choose TV over working on their plan. They say they want to be healthy, but choose convenience over nutrition. They say they want deeper relationships, yet prioritize social media over real conversations. Your priorities reveal your true commitment, not the ones you talk about, but the ones you actually live by. Look at how you spend your time, energy, and money. Look at what you say yes to and what you say no to. Look at what receives your best effort and what gets your leftovers. If your current priorities don't align with your purpose, one of two things must change: either your priorities or your purpose. Start living what you truly value, or be honest about what you actually value based on your daily actions. Being too friendly often creates a misalignment between purpose and priorities. You say family is your priority, but can't say no to your boss, so you miss your child's recital. You say health is your priority, but can't decline social obligations, so you skip exercise or sleep. You say your business is a priority, but can't refuse distractions, so your business stalls. Stop this cycle. Align your priorities with your purpose by learning to say no to what doesn't move you forward. Here are practical steps to stop being too friendly. 1. Get clear on your purpose. You cannot protect what you haven't identified. Write your personal mission statement. What were you created to do? What contribution are you meant to make? What problem are you here to solve? Unless you know your purpose, you won't know what deserves your yes and what deserves your no. 2. Audit your commitments. List everything you've said yes to: obligations, responsibilities, recurring activities. Next to each, mark whether it aligns with your purpose. Be brutally honest. You'll likely find many commitments are taking you nowhere near your goals. 3. Prepare scripts for saying no. Many struggle because they don't know how to decline gracefully. Craft simple, clear, kind ways to say no, and practice until it feels natural. You don't need to justify your no. A simple, "I'm not able to take that on right now," is enough. 4. Start small. Don't try to transform all your relationships overnight. Begin with low-risk situations. Say no to the telemarketer, decline optional meetings. As you build this muscle, gradually apply to bigger areas of your life. 5. Expect resistance. When you set boundaries, people will test them. They're used to your yes and won't give it up easily. Some will push back, some will try to guilt you, some might get angry. Stand firm. The short-term discomfort of enforcing your boundaries is nothing compared to the long-term pain of constantly crossing them. 6. Surround yourself with boundary, respecting people. Seek those who honor your no, who don't take your time for granted, who value your priorities. Healthy relationships like these strengthen you to address the unhealthy ones. 7. Celebrate progress. Each time you successfully protect a boundary, recognize it. Each time you say no to something that doesn't serve your purpose, acknowledge the win. You're reclaiming your life one choice at a time. Let me tell you about Sophia, who attended one of my leadership events a few years ago. When I met her, she was exhausted, burned out, and resentful. As a community organizer, she had said yes to every request, every committee, every cause. She worked 70-hour weeks, was available 24/7 by phone, and hadn't taken a vacation in 3 years. Her health was suffering. Her relationships were strained. Despite all her work, her impact was limited because she was stretched too thin to excel at anything. During our workshop on boundaries, something clicked for Sophia. She realized that by trying to help everyone, she was effectively helping no one, least of all herself. She committed to change. It wasn't easy. She stepped down from several committees, started turning off her phone after 8 p.m., and learned to delegate. Some people called her selfish, but she stood firm. Sophia focused on the area where she could make the greatest impact: youth mentorship. Instead of spreading herself thin, she poured her energy deeply into this one initiative. 2 years later, she sent me a letter. Her program had expanded to 3 locations, showing measurable results in keeping at-risk teens in school. She had trained 10 mentors who were now leading their own groups and secured stable funding through grants. She even had time to write properly. Her health improved dramatically, and her closest relationships strengthened. Here's the remarkable part: the very people who initially resisted her boundaries became her strongest supporters. They respected her focus, clarity, and results. By stopping being too friendly, Sophia amplified her positive impact on her community. Your story can follow a similar path. You can go from scattered to focused, from exhausted to energized, from resentful to purposeful. But it starts with a decision to stop being too friendly with what doesn't matter, so you can fully commit to what does. Remember, the world doesn't need more people who say yes to everything. It needs people who say yes to what matters and no to what doesn't. It doesn't need more people pleasers. It needs difference makers. And you cannot make a difference if you're too busy making everyone else happy.